start with today's part. Now, what are the main learning objectives of today's lesson? So, at the end of today's lesson, we will learn what are deficiency diseases. We will learn that what is protein energy malnutrition, what is a vitamin deficiency disease, and what are mineral deficiency diseases. Now, what are deficiency disease? Now, first of all, we should know what are deficiency disease. Deficiency disease, deficiency of any essential nutrients which are not present in our diet may cause a disease. Now, since the diseases arises due to deficiency of a nutrient, so that nutrient, as it is causing a deficiency in your diet, the disease is occurring due to that deficiency only. So it is called deficiency disease. Now, there are three types of mainly deficiency diseases, like protein energy malnutrition or protein calorie malnutrition. That is a disease. So, generally, what is protein energy malnutrition? That is lack of proteins or carbohydrates in our diets, and less intake of proteins, or that is less intake of proteins than carbohydrates also causes that protein energy malnutrition. Okay, so that is a disease which is caused generally within 1 to 3 years of age group. Now, vitamin deficiency disease may be caused at any age to any individual. Like that only, mineral deficiency disease doesn't have any specific age. These are not age related or age specific rather, but generally we can say that these deficiency diseases like PEM or PCM, they generally occur in infants from the age of under the age of 1 year, or from age of 1, between age of 1 to 3. Now we will move on to the next slide. Now, what is protein energy malnutrition? Just now I told you that it occurs from the age of 1 year to 3 years of age. What happens there? There is lack of proteins or carbohydrates and fats, or lack of all the things, that is protein, carbohydrate, fats in your diet. That is less intake of proteins also can happen than carbohydrates. Or we can say that when a person is taking more amount of carbohydrate but there is no protein intake in the diet, so which is very important for body growth, for body repair, for the repairing the damages in the body. And carbohydrate provides us with energy, but carbohydrate doesn't provide us with body building things, right? So that we can get in proteins. So I've discussed with what are the important functions of proteins in the previous slide. Please refer to those slides. If you are instantly coming and doing this video, you won't be understanding all the previous things which I have already taught in nutrition. So it is very important that you go through all the slides from the beginning, and at the end of this all the slides we are coming to this deficiency disease, then only you will understand. Now, what are the two types of protein energy malnutrition diseases? They are, first one is Marrasmus, which is very common mainly in African countries we can say, and Kwarshirkor, where there are many malnutrition, that is undernutrition and malnutrition infants are there. So they are very poor, they don't get food, adequate amount of food only. So we can't talk about a healthy balanced diet for these infants. So let us see what is Marrasmus. Now here you can see this child, you can see the condition, the physical condition, you can see this child. So first of all we should know what does the word Marrasmus mean. The word Marrasmus actually means withering, or it is a Greek word which means withering. So it is a disease, you can say that the body becomes lean, thin and weak. It actually develops when a diet is very poor in energy giving foods like carbohydrates, fats and proteins. Okay, and what is happening? The diet does not supply enough energy also to the normal for the proper functioning of the body. And what is happening here? We can say the body is becoming lean and thin. The skin has become dry. You can see the skin condition is also very poor. It has wrinkles. It has wrinkles on the body. It's showing loose folds, as there is no fat layer. Okay, the skin is not having any fat layer below the skin, so everything has disappeared, and the ribs are very much prominent. You can see here in the diagram that the ribs are very much prominent, and face as well as the limbs, you can see, oh my god, they all have become so thin. The face as well as the limbs have become so thin. The body have become lean. The skin has become dry, thin, wrinkled. So from the appearance itself, you can say that the person is that infant is suffering from a certain kind of disease. Now, how we can prevent this kind of disease? Now, marasmus can actually be cured. How can it be cured? By giving the child adequate quantities of protein, carbohydrate, and fat, which all nutrients he was lacking. When the person is suffering from marasmus, he was lacking in protein, carbohydrate, and fat. So this all you can give this fellow in adequate or more amount, so that this marasmus disease can be cured. Now, might be there is absence of mother's milk, so even you can provide the child with cow's milk, and this will provide a child with appropriate nutrition which is required. So in place of mother's milk, if you are replacing that with cow's milk, it's well and good. So marasmus can be cured. Okay, so it is a protein fat, what we can say, it is a protein fat as well as carbohydrate deficiency disorder which can be cured. And we can bring this diseased individual to a normal life, back to a normal life. Now next we will come to another disease, that is Kwarshirkor, right? So let us move on to that. Now here we can see, now what does this term Kwarshirkor mean? Actually, first we should know the meaning of the term Kwarshirkor. What does this mean? This means rejected or neglected child. Okay, this means actually rejected or neglected child, or neglected one. So we can say that a rejected or a neglected child, they don't get much of food. That is, this is a disease caused by severe protein malnutrition. A child may contain sufficient amount of fat and carbohydrates in the diet, but there is no amount of protein in the diet, then the child will suffer from kwashiorkor. So what are the symptoms? We can see the symptoms. The symptoms are mainly, we can say, the stunted growth, the protruding belly, the bulging eyes. These are all the symptoms: the bulging eyes, the protruding belly, the edema or edema of the belly. This belly edema is actually the retention of water. Now we can say the skin becomes dry and scaly. Now if you look at them from here, you can't make out the skin is scaly, but when you look them from nearby, you can see that skin has become dry and scaly. Hair, you can see from here, has become reddish in color. Disease resistance in these kids, it is very low, and the child may suffer from anemia also. The liver becomes enlarged, and we can say that vomiting and diarrhea are very common. Whenever they eat anything, it causes diarrhea or it causes vomiting, because they don't have any disease resistance power, right? And these can, if they are suffering from this kind of disease, for a certain stage, for several months or years, what will happen? Mental retardation will happen. It will develop their brain cells lesser, and the child than children who are having normal diet. Now, what is the prevention and cure of this? A protein rich diet should be given to children. This is a protein deficiency disease, so protein rich diet should be given to children, and animal protein is found actually more effective than plant protein. Now, when kids are suffering from this, you should give them egg, meat, and more of fish. Like animal protein should be given. Plant protein is not adequate in this kind of diseases. Okay, so we should give them more amount of animal protein, so that this disease can be cured, and it occurs mainly to child between the age group of 1 to 5. Now if they are exceeding 5 years of age, and actually if you provide them with protein rich diet, there will not be there will be no such type of diseases like Kwarshirkor and Marasmus, right? Now we will move on to certain diseases which we have already discussed about in previous episodes. Now I want to do a quick revision as I am talking about deficiency diseases. Now, in the next slide, I'll be discussing about vitamin deficiency malnutrition. Like I have already spoken about what are the sources of vitamin A, D, E, K in my slide regarding vitamin. Please go through it, you will understand. Now, I have there also I told you that what are the deficiency diseases. Here again, I am going to discuss once again for your quick revision or summary. Now, vitamin A, we can say vitamin A is absent in your diet. There will be eye problem, night blindness or keratomalacia. Vitamin D causes rickets and osteomalacia. Vitamin E causes mild hemolytic anemia in newborn infants. Okay, and vitamin K causes bleeding diastasis. That is, the blood clot doesn't form easily. There is a problem in blood clotting. Now here vitamin B1, beriberi, vitamin B2, this all I have told in details in your vitamin video. Please go through it so that no need to repeat it again and again. The slide will also become boring. So these are vitamin deficiency malnutrition. And lastly, we'll move on to the mineral deficiency malnutrition. This also I've discussed when I discussed the topic of mineral. Now, what are the sources? What are the major deficiency disorders of this? I have already discussed. So, what are the minerals? Important minerals I have already discussed. That is iodine, calcium, iron, zinc, and fluoride and selenium. Right. So, if there is deficiency of iodine in our diet, it causes goiter, hypothyroidism, iodine deficiency disorders, increased risk of stillbirth, birth defects, infant mortality, cognitive impairment, and all. Now, decreased bone mineralization, rickets, and osteoporosis. Now, next comes, we can say that next comes the calcium mineral, which is causing decreased bone mineralization, that is rickets, osteoporosis, and iron deficiency. We have already told iron deficiency causes iron deficiency anemia, reduced learning and working capacity, maternal and infant mortality, low birth weight. Zinc deficiency causes poor pregnancy outcome, impaired growth, genetic disorders. These are all zinc deficiency. Now comes fluoride. It causes increased dental decay. If we are lacking these all minerals in this way, these are the deficiency disorders. And last comes selenium, which causes cardiomyopathy, increased risk of cancer and cardiovascular risk. So this is all about, almost I have covered all the deficiency diseases caused by protein, carbohydrate, fat, vitamins and minerals. So these are all deficiency disorder. Mineral and vitamin I have already discussed in the previous videos. This was just a sum up of all the things which I have discussed earlier. So as of now, I think the episode of nutrition is completed, and you all will go through it. You all will go through your lessons. You all will go through all your textbook exercises. Do the exercises and come to me with the comments, with the queries. I want all the queries from you so that I can understand you have understood each and every lesson, each and every part of this lesson. So next we will move on with a new lesson or a new episode. Okay, that is all for today. Okay, thank you.